Hi there, everybody. I'm Jennifer Angel. This is my monthly overview report for May, what's happening with the planets. Now, I'm calling this a month of promise, so let's hope it ends up that way. I think we can certainly all, welcome something sort of fabulous happening in our lives all the times, but now that it's May, we're really like leading up to the middle of the month, and each month I do an overview report which is posted in written form on my New York Daily News pages. If you go to New York Daily News /horoscopes, or you can just go to jenniferangel.com, find it as well. So, and then what I do is I actually read the report. When I do the weekly videos, I just look at my wheel and what's going on. But this monthly report, I actually read it, so bear with me as I go through this, because sometimes the written word is not like the spoken word. So let's see how I go. All right, so May, a month of promise. As we lead up to the midpoint of 2015, it's a good time to review your goals, reflect on how the year is unfolding for you, and make adjustments to stay on track and not go off on tangents that can take you away from your main priorities in life. It's good to keep in mind that as we are all individuals, and unique individuals at that, as we grow and learn, we change. So our goals, aspirations, and sometimes even our values can change along with it as we travel through this journey of life. Now, May, a month of promise with lessons to embrace and sunbeams to ride on. So it's always a little bit of both challenges and support. Read on now to see how you can work with the energies to your best advantage. Of course, now I'm going to speak on. All right, so right from the start of the month, Mercury has taken up residence in one of the signs it rules, Gemini, and he sits quite comfortably here. So as Mercury, the planet that governs communication and commerce, will enter a retrograde transit this month for the second time for the year, it will stay in this position right through to the 8th of July. So it's an extended stay for Mercury because of the retrograde. Now, shortly after the start of the month, the full moon in Scorpio will give you a chance to deal with some unanswered questions and settle issues that have been sitting at the back of your mind or unresolved for some time. And at the same time, the moon squares with Jupiter. So this is going to add emotional intensity to any situation that is already sensitive, okay? So you want to be careful not to make any rash decisions based on what you want to happen rather than what is really happening. So Mercury in an opposition to Saturn can also have you thinking quite seriously about life, but don't get caught up in a situation where you feel despondent about what's going on. So these three influences can help you bring a situation to a break point and actually move through it and not get stuck at that point. So although some of this can be a little bit unsettling, it does push you through, okay? So that's the good news. And the trine on the 6th of the month between the Sun and powerful Pluto can help you leave the past behind and just break through to that new future, all right? Now, Venus, goddess of love, who also rules money, makes her move to the sign of Cancer on the 7th, and on the same day, a sensitive energy of the moon will move into opposition with Capricorn. And the combination of these two placements can help to open your heart to love, but also be cautious enough to protect yourself. Okay, so in other words, until you know that love is for real, which can take some time, but it can actually happen during this time too, you don't want to rush into anything, okay? So really, what's the rush? Just enjoy the moment. Mars makes his move from possessive Taurus to creative Gemini on the 11th of the month. Now, this can scatter your energies somewhat, as Geminis can have a little bit of a short attention span, interested in many different things that are going on, and Mars is like a risk taker and loves to operate in the fast lane. So this is a 6-week placement. And so if you have specific priorities and deadlines, you better block everything else out so as not to get distracted and go off on tangents, which is very easy to do during this time. So it may be enjoyable to go off and do a whole lot of different things, but perhaps not necessarily productive. Now, on the 15th, Mars will oppose Saturn, and as these two planets represents quite opposite energy, Mars fast, furious, rash, and Saturn to be more slow and cautious. So you can experience almost like a stop-start effect, as if the brakes have been put on and cause some delays. So, of course, Mercury retrograde coming up can cause delays too. So don't worry if things start to feel like they're going on a little bit of a go slow. It's still happening behind the scenes. Now, Mars is the trigger, so it can highlight issues that you need to look at, and once you work through them, it's then back to business as usual. But it's a great time just to use that energy of Mars just to push through and get over some things, leave the baggage behind, and move on. And you'll be a lot further ahead than you were when you began, okay? So that's the main thing to think of. When we're going through stuff, we don't always see it, but when we look back, we can see how far that we've come. Now, when Venus and when Venus and Neptune interact favorably on the 16th, right at the middle of the month, romance and love are heightened during this time. So it's closely followed by the new moon on the 18th in Taurus, one of the signs that the beautiful Venus rules. And this astral activity can signify the start of something wonderful with someone special. However, still running in the background, let's not forget that the Mars-Saturn interaction is there. So it's not necessarily a good time to force an issue. But particularly as we're right on that Mercury retrograde as well. So it's best to take a step back, get out of your own way, and just see what unfolds. Be a bit of a spectator. So on this same day, the 18th, is when Mercury will be stationary retrograde, getting ready to enter its retrograde transit for the next 3-week period. And as Mercury is in the sign of Gemini with this retrograde transit, you'll need to be extra careful not to gloss over issues, paperwork, or details of any kind. Social activities, short trips, siblings, neighbors, media, and internet dating all come under this placement too, okay? So it's a good time to group together with those that you love and those who support you, and that's going to help you stay connected and on track. Excuse me. Now, on the 21st, Venus will be opposite powerful Pluto, and the combined energy of these two planets can uncover some emotional issues that you've been pushing down and perhaps hiding even for years. So if the timing is right for you to uncover a deep, dark secret or something that's been, laying there that you maybe even have forgotten about, and it can be blocking you to really living your dreams. So if the timing's right, this is the time to deal with it and to break through. But there's a time and place for everything, as I always say, and only you know if it's the right time for you to do some deep inner self work at this time, okay? Sometimes there's all sorts of other things going on in your life, and you don't want to take too much. You don't want to get yourself to the breaking point. You want to not break, you want to break through, okay? So on this same day, the sun will make its move into the sign of Gemini, and that's going to provide a much lighter energy and give us the ability to step outside of our own screenplay of life and put things in perspective more. Excuse me. So that lightens it up a little bit. So that helps you to take a step back. Now, however, the very next day, on the 22nd, the Sun and Saturn will interact in an opposition and put the brakes on anything major that you have going on in the work. So once again, this gives you time to just time and space to further think things through, okay? You do want to be careful not to butt heads with anyone in authority, all right? And this is not a time to force your way through the red tape. It's likely to be met with opposition. So, use your intuition. When the time's right, go for it. If it doesn't feel right, just step back and, watch what happens. Now, Venus squares unpredictable Uranus on the 25th, and during this time, it's a good idea to just sidestep anyone that even looks like they got out of bed on the wrong side, okay? So instead, use this energy to do something special for yourself to relieve stress and tension. You don't want things to build up to a crescendo. And with Mars squaring Neptune on that same day, in the 25th, it's very possible that things are not quite as they seem. So you want to just wait for the pieces to fall into place. It's what I call playing the chess game of life and just allowing things to happen and wait your turn rather than just rushing forward. And you want to be careful not to overreact or make any assumptions, especially as a Mercury conjuncts Mars on the 27th, which can result in some rash behavior. So think before you speak. The month finishes off with a conjunction between the Sun and Mercury and a square between the Sun and Neptune. So casting energy of more optimism, but also with a level of uncertainty. So a balance of idealism with a touch of realism is what will keep you sane this month. It is indeed a month of promise, but not without its challenges, although what would life be without a few challenges? The lessons of life continually support and challenge us and serve to teach us about others and ourselves and helps them move us to the next stage of life. So never be afraid of getting into that uncomfortable space where you feel a little unsettled. That means you're moving and things are changing for you. It's the uncertainty of life that dares us to strive to be better people and live the lives that we aspire to. And that's what I wish for each and every one of you for this month of May. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jennifer Angel. You can go and read this report on my New York Daily News pages, and now go ahead and do the weekly scopes. And also there's a Mother's Day report as well up for Focus on Mum and on the New York Daily News pages too, so you might like to have a look at that. Love and luck to you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.